It has always been Elon Musk's lifelong dream to make life multi-planetary and for everyone to be able to travel to Mars. His dreams seem to be becoming a reality. His plan to create a spaceport is also underway, and everything seems to be taking shape. In today's video, we will be giving you insights on how exactly everything is expected to work out, as well as peek into everything you need to know about SpaceX's first working launch site, or spaceport, in South Texas. So make sure you keep watching this video to the end to stay updated. First, we start off with a little background information about SpaceX Starbase. So, Starbase is a test site and a private rocket production facility constructed by SpaceX and located in Boca Chica, east of Brownsville, Texas. Why Musk decided to pick this location when it seemed like there were better locations is one that has left questions pondering in the minds of many, but we'll get to that later. At its initial launch, SpaceX stated that the purpose of the spaceport was to provide SpaceX with an exclusive launch site that would allow the company to accommodate its launch manifest and to also support the Falcon 9 and the Falcon Heavy launches. However, in 2018, the company changed its mind and announced that the launch site would be exclusively used for SpaceX's next-generation launch vehicle, Starship. Musk's new site in Boca Chica, Texas, seems to be superior for a lot of reasons. First, it is closer to the equator, which means rockets can take advantage of the Earth's natural spin to help accelerate away from Earth's gravity. It's no wonder why he picked Texas. Remember when I talked about Musk's decision to pick Texas, when it seemed like there were better options? Well, let's get into it. Musk decided that the SpaceX database Starbase would be in Texas. So why did Musk decide to choose Texas as a starbase when other SpaceX's operations has its headquarters in California, which also comprises of the best and brightest minds in engineering and tech? If he wasn't going to choose California, Florida would have been another suitable option because of its rich spacefaring pedigree. But why Texas? Well, according to research, it was discovered that Texas was the perfect choice for Musk because it is seen as a soft touch in terms of regulatory oversight. This means he would move quicker than how he would move in a more litigious state like California. So in Texas, Musk would have a much freer reign, and who wouldn't prefer that? Texas also wanted Elon Musk to build its site in the state though. How do I know this? Investigations reveal that the authorities went ahead to loosen tiresome existing legislation regarding noise limits just to make everything more conducive for, and permitted temporary closure of state beaches just so SpaceX's Ambition testing facility couldn't be facilitated. As at the moment, the launch site looks to be a construction site. The launch complex has been roughly divided into two zones. The suborbital launch site is on the western end of the complex, which has the Starship prototypes. Now enough of all these, let's get into the design philosophy of SpaceX. Their major philosophy can be summed up as build, fly, fail, redesign, and fly. In simpler terms, this means if the firm gets something wrong in the first rocket, they change it and build another one. Elon Musk's multi-planetary vision for mankind is solely dependent on being able to reuse rockets quickly. To do this, the Starship, which is technically the biggest flying object ever, would need to establish a reliable and accurate landing routine, and this is made possible through a pair of giant arms, popularly called chopsticks. These chopsticks would be installed on the top of the gigantic tower to catch the descending booster and ship from midair while using pins attached to the rocket body or snagging the ship's reinforced grid fins. After this, the spacecraft can now be transported back and forth using tank treads. With this, the craft can be set down accurately, with no hassle on the booster or on what is called the launch table. Before you start wondering, the launch table is the one that rests on 6 gargantuan steel supports buried deep in Texas soil. It weighs 370 tons. Heavy, right? And that's why it took an entire year to install. It still needs to weigh up to 5,000 tons if it's to be fully tough and complete though. The launch table also incorporates a deluge system that uses water from a nearby tank farm to suppress noise. This tank is the largest of its kind anywhere on Earth. It comprises 6 giant containers that are up to 30 meters in height. They're also made from 4mm thick steel cylinders to make the rockets, which are basically the same as that of SpaceX watches. Musk is always trying to save costs to do things in a cheaper way. This is why he prefers to use existing parts, because they would not require expensive designs of tooling regimes. The rocket repellent built by Musk's company, however, cannot be held in 4mm thick steel tanks. The cryogenic rocket fuel is stored in 7 of the 8 tanks, while the others hold water for the deluge systems we talked earlier about. I hope you can remember. This isn't such a serious problem though, as engineers are already working on a solution. In fact, they have already put a sleeve commonly referred to as the CRYO shell around the tanks to enable it to be able to hold liquid oxygen or liquid methane for a long period of time. Let's say weeks, and sealing the void between the tank and shell containing an insulating gas. Despite all this, not everyone is delighted with Elon Musk's progress though. One of such is the Federal Aviation Authority, which suggested that it has the ability to force SpaceX to take the launch tower down, because it is not yet clear to them if it satisfies planning regulations. They even added that they were not aware of the tower, and only became aware after they saw a video online. Hard to believe though. This is not the only opposition they faced, however. The Dallas Petroleum Group also posed a legal challenge to SpaceX. The Petroleum Group earlier owned some of the land currently occupied by Starbase. They claim that some inactive wells at Boca Chica would enable it to put a spanner on Musk's words. However, Musk emerged on top as the Railroad Commission of Texas favored his plans instead of building natural gas-fired power plants and extracted liquid methane from the ground. Moving forward, let's talk about the future plans for the Starbase launch site at Boca Chica. Reports say that there are plans underway already for a second orbital launch pad and tower, as well as an additional landing pad and 2 dedicated structural test stands that would join the current complement of buildings at the launch site. Musk has also met with the country officials to discuss the possibility of creating a tunnel, because beach access to the launch site on weekends, though a favorable structure granted by Texas, would still pose some operational problems for the company. His goal is to incorporate the entire region as a city and name it as Starbase. Check out his tweet earlier from this year, creating the city of Starbase, Texas, from thence to Mars and hence the stars. Of course, this won't be an easy task, but if there's anyone who can do it, it's Elon Musk. We have come to the end of this very detailed and insightful cover of the SpaceX database. Did you learn something new today? I'm sure you did, so why don't you give this video a thumbs up, and let us know your thoughts concerning all of these in the comments section. Also, hit the subscribe button for more exciting updates, and I'll see you in the next video.